समझ नहीं आ रहा अपने सैलरी इंक्रीमेंट का क्या करूं।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है, अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स के एसआईपी का टॉपअप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
क्या समझ में नहीं आया।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है, अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स का एसआईपी टॉपअप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
अब समझा।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Parliament may have ducked the issue in the monsoon session, or more accurately, the government ducked the issue in Parliament session. However, the whole country is transfixed on three letters, or on a three-letter word, or an abbreviation, SIR. Now, not only is the country transfixed, but also many of you have been complaining that we haven't talked about this in great detail. And why is it so? Why are we talking about Ukraine and Europe and Pakistan, China, etc.? I'd like to say all of that's important. This is important too. We've been trying to understand this. This is also a polarized issue, because on the one side, it is the government and the Election Commission who say that the electoral rolls have deep flaws, too many outsiders have come in, too many dead people still feature in electoral rolls, too many people vote in multiple places, too many people who've migrated to other states, particularly given the fact that Bihar itself is a labor exporting state, right? People feature in two places at the same time, that's not right. But the unwritten thing there, or the less stated thing, although now it's increasingly being stated, particularly after the Prime Minister's speech on Independence Day, where he dwelt on the Ghuspetia issue, infiltrator issue a great deal in border districts. Bihar has border districts with Nepal. More importantly, many of these border districts with Nepal are adjoining areas from where distance to Bangladesh isn't that much. Maybe there is just a little strip of West Bengal between them. At its narrowest, it's at Siliguri, the Siliguri neck, and other parts also. It's not that wide. So the presumption is that a lot of people from Bangladesh or East Pakistan have come in and have become electors in these border districts, particularly in the border districts. So that is something that the Election Commission will not say prominently. However, foreigners, infiltrators, Ghuspetia, also part of that argument. The counter from the opposition, that's been led by Rahul Gandhi, that is that this is vote chori, that this is deliberate, this has been suddenly done with no notice, nothing. This is being done in a great rush in the run-up to the Bihar election, where the BJP seems to be in trouble. BJP means BJP plus JDU plus all its other smaller allies there. They feel that anti-incumbency is really strong, and they see a threat. They see a threat in Bihar, and that might send the central government also downhill from there on. That's why stakes being so high, they want to quote unquote sanitize the electoral rolls to get rid of those voters who they suspect might be more committed to the opposition. What that means in any context in India, but particularly in Bihar's context, would be Muslim voters. Muslim voters, you can say Yadav voters also, but that's a little bit tougher. The implication will be Muslim voters, particularly in these districts. So that is the big picture. In this situation, the Election Commission has come out blazing in an adversarial avatar. That is not something that you usually see from the Election Commission. Sometimes they do get aggressive in their defense, but this is unprecedented, because this has now become the Election Commission, Central Election Commission versus the opposition, particularly Rahul Gandhi. And this has led to the use of language and argumentation that we have not seen before, because Election Commission traditionally in India has been treated with a great deal of respect and deference. Someone like T.N. Session, he commanded all this power. because there was respect and deference. And since then, everybody has known not to take pangas with the Election Commission, not because you are afraid of the Election Commission, but because it's an institution that Indians by and large respect, and that is the reason Indians by and large accept the outcome of their elections, even when people make allegations, etc. I'll take you right back to 1971, Indira Gandhi's Garibi Hatao election. After that, the opposition, particularly the Jan Sangh, which was the earlier avatar of the BJP, they said that Mrs. Gandhi only won that election because her Soviet pals, her Soviet allies, had given her a magic ink. Those days, you had to stamp ballot papers, so that magic ink worked how? It worked in such a way that any mark put in front of the opposition symbol disappeared and a mark appeared in front of the Congress symbol. In spite of that, nobody bought into it, and Election Commission's reputation and credibility remained. That was the case in 1977 also, when Mrs. Gandhi, after lifting the emergency, lost that election quite decisively. This confrontation between the Election Commission and the opposition is unprecedented. The government obviously did not want a debate on this in Lok Sabha. They used multiple excuses, one of which was that this is now sub judice. That's because many people from the opposition and some activist organizations went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court gave an order. Until that order was given, the Election Commission of India, the existing electoral rolls were about 7.9 crores. We'll give you the precise number as we go along. From that, the Election Commission said they carried out a door-to-door survey, and as a result of that, 65.6 lakhs names were now going to be excluded. So far, until people went to Supreme Court, they were not willing to release the list of those 65.6 lakhs, of which they said 22 lakhs are dead, etc. I will give you the breakup, but they were not willing to give the list. Supreme Court, however, ordered the Election Commission to make the list public, to put it on the EC website. However, the Election Commission has not done so in a machine-readable format, which was the petitioner's demand and which is also the opposition's demand. And they said they did not do so because they were ordered by the Supreme Court not to do so. I will have my colleagues explain what exactly this was. But that is where we are right now. So this list of 65.6 lakhs is there. Election Commission says out of this, 22 lakhs are people who've died. More than 36 lakhs are people who have shifted to other states. As we said earlier, Bihar is a labor exporting state, and every city in the country now has a sizable Bihari population. And many are untraceable, and this is 7 lakhs are registered as voters in multiple places. So now, to give you a brief on the process, there are 3 types of revisions that are carried out by the Election Commission. We'll bring you through the details. And this started, in fact, this revision process started very early on. It started from 1952, our first election, because the electoral rolls that were drawn up before that had many flaws, obviously, and one of the biggest flaws was that many women were not listed by name. India is a unique democracy which gave uniform adult franchise to everybody, most importantly, irrespective of gender. Many Western countries took a long time in their democracy to reach there. India started out with that. In the first electoral rolls, many women were not mentioned by name, but so-and-so's mother, so-and-so's daughter, so-and-so's wife, uski patni, uski beti, suputri wo ya patni uski, etc. like that, and all that had to be cleaned up. And there were multiple processes of electoral rolls. So it's a complex issue. I've given you a general overview. I have now to properly declutter it. The two of my colleagues who've been handling it on a daily basis. The print has covered this story very extensively, politically, constitutionally, also from the ground. So I have 2 colleagues now DK Singh, who you know, he knows everything about politics, and he will tell us what is the politics of the issue here and what lies ahead and what the stakes are. And Apoorva Mandhani, who also you know very well, she covers the law, she covers the courts. She's been also covering the Election Commission and writing about this issue as well. So, Apoorva, let me ask you first of all, you said there are 3 types of revisions in India. What are these 3 types?
So the 3 types, Shekhar, are intensively, summarily, summary revision, intensive revision, or partly intensive, partly summary.
Bit of this, bit of that.
Yeah. So just briefly now, the difference only lies in how, in the stage before claims and objections, in how that data is being collected or put out. Essentially, in intensive revision, there's a door-to-door or house-to-house check or verification that's done, while in summary revision, just the voter list, the previous voter list is reviewed, and a draft electoral roll is done without door-to-door or house-to-house verification. And after both of these things, the claims and objection stage remains the same. Partly is, of course, part this, part that, draft electoral roll is published along with house verification as well.
So in the Supreme Court, what is it that the petitioners said?
In the Supreme Court, the petitioners have raised several issues. One is time frame as well as the timeline. Time frame is the fact that we are expecting Bihar elections very, very soon. So they're questioning why was the necessity to conduct an SIR at this moment on such a short notice when the elections are right around the corner and when a summary revision was already done at the start of this
year. And when you were almost heading into the flood season.
Right, yeah. And the time frame, the timeline as well, because there's one
Because
month.
in Bihar, floods are normal. It's not as if this year floods will come or not. In Bihar, floods are part of life in Bihar.
Right. And amidst that, they've just been given 1 month to submit their enumeration forms, then another month for claims and objections. Within this claims and objections month as well, people can submit their documents, after which the ECI will decide on these claims and objections again till 25th of September. So it has about 25 days or so. It's looking at claims and objections as we go ahead as well, but by 25th of September, it has to give a decision. And then 30th September is when the final list will come out. So this started on 25th of June, and by 30th of September, everything will be done.
Yeah. DK, what are the political issues? How did the opposition latch on to it? You think they have a point here? And where are we headed with this?
See, it's not just SIR. The entire thing started, years back, this distrust in EVMs. So basic issue is distrust, trust deficit. Opposition seems to be convinced that the Election Commission is working at the behest of the ruling party, and so they have been raising one issue after another. It started with EVMs, and they have been expanding the scope. Now, not that you do not have fake voters or fake electoral rolls in the past. We know it has always been there. Now, at a granular level, when you are a party, you ensure, if you have booth level workers, if you have bundle level workers, you ensure that when voter lists are prepared, you intervene and actually fight it out there, which the BJP is capable of because of its organizational strength.
Because they have so many workers on the ground.
Yeah, but for the Congress, and because it doesn't have that kind of organizational heft, it's not able to do. So next level, we saw how in Bangalore, this Mahadevapura assembly segment, the Congress has come out with the big list. Now, it's very difficult to say who voted for whom, who got them enrolled, but allegations and allegations. Now, what we see last few elections, Congress has found it really difficult to believe that they got defeated. Say, Haryana, they took it for granted. They were going to win
Assembly
election. Maharashtra, they were taking for granted. They were going to win Maharashtra assembly election. And suddenly everything turns around. How do you justify that? So it may be your own failures.
No, how do you justify that? Congress party is thinking.
From the Congress side. They just could not believe that they lost those elections. And then this entire exercise started. Where did we go wrong? And then we started... Then we heard Rahul Gandhi talking about, how the number of voters went up from the Lok Sabha election to assembly election. There was a drastic increase. So all the allegations have started flying around us. But at the core of it is, again, this trust deficit. And the way the Chief Election Commissioner, Ganesh Kumar, has reacted, I mean, he has actually further added fuel to the fire.
Because he's come across in an adversarial manner.
Yeah.
Not like a third umpire or who's conducting the process, but he's as if he's on one side and he's in the fight.
And the fact is, SIR, if you look at it, even now, to say that something wrong is happening, and we have no proof whatsoever. And Apoorva can talk about that Simanchal region, but otherwise also. And we do not know, only when, till today, only 70,000 claims and objections have been filed out of 65 lakh deletions. It's barely 1%. So political parties, they may be talking a lot outside how the EC is trying to fix. But from the ground, they have not been able to bring all those claims and objections.
Not yet.
Just 70,000 is nothing.
Yeah, but there is still 5 weeks left to September 25.
No, claims and objections have to be filed by
1st of September.
By the 1st of September.
Okay, so it's only about 10 days left now for the
Yeah.
claims and objections to be filed.
And then we will see. So there are some grey areas. When the CEC was asked in the press conference last Sunday, that there's a lot of question about these people submitting documents. So how many people have not submitted documents? Because in the enumeration stage, you don't have to submit your documents. But CEC does not have any answer because everybody is talking about deletions. But the core issue is how many people have been able to give those documents. We don't know yet.
Because deletions will only take place if people have not been able to submit documents.
Yes.
Yes, but they have not answered that.
And even there for deletions also, in fact, I was reading S.Y. Qureshi, the former CEC. He wrote somewhere. So when Gopalaswamy was the Chief Election Commissioner, he had come out with a brilliant method. So what he did after door-to-door verification, when you have this SAD voter, SAD like shifted, absent and dead. So Gopalaswamy got a separate list prepared for SAD voters. And that list was given to the presiding officer in every polling station. So out of this list, if somebody appears at a polling booth, the presiding officer has that list. So he can verify whether it's a genuine guy or some fake voter. So in 2007, it was applied in UP Assembly election. So in UP, just 2-3% of these SAD voters showed up. Then it was applied in other states. But in Gujarat, it went up to 24%. So 24% of shifted, absent and dead voters appeared in Gujarat election. They came to the polling station. So these 65 lakhs again, these people have no option. They are just out.
Yes. And that's about 9% of the base, of about 7.9 crores.
Yeah.
About 9%. Let's say round it off to about 9 to 10% of the base. So of the documents, there's controversy also about documents. So which are the documents that the EC accepts and which ones does it not accept?
Right, of course, along with the points on timeline and the time frame, the documents and the fact that ECI is looking to establish or ascertain the citizenship of these voters, those have been extremely important issues in the Supreme Court as well. I'll just list down the documents, 11 acceptable documents by the ECI for this exercise. Is the birth certificate, passport, matriculation certificate, permanent residence certificate issued by a state authority, forest rights certificate, caste certificate, National Register of Citizens or NRC certificate, family registered prepared by state or local authorities, any land house allotment certificate by the government, any identity card or pension payment order issued to a regular employee or pensioner of central government, state government or PSU, or any such identity card certificate document issued by the government, local authorities, banks, post office, LIC, PSUs prior to 1st of July 1987.
So these are the 11. I counted 10 and now 11. These are the 11.
Right.
And which are the ones that they are not accepting, which the opposition is objecting?
Right. opposition and even the petitioners in the
Even the
Supreme Court.
yes,
That's another
yes, yes.
important issue. So that's the Aadhaar, the EPIC, the voter ID, and the ration card. Now, the Supreme Court in one of the hearings had also urged the ECI to consider accepting these documents. In response, the ECI basically said that it won't be able to do so, and its reasoning was that for Aadhaar, it said that Aadhaar is not proof of citizenship, which is something that is written on Aadhaar, but as per the petitioners, of course, they are saying that none of these documents are proof of citizenship.
Yes.
They are proof of identity, which is something that Aadhaar
Aadhaar
can
also
establish
is.
as well.
Plus Aadhaar is biometrics.
Right. So that was the ECI's defense. Then it said because it can't accept ration card because of widespread existence of fake ration cards. And for EPIC, it said that, or voter ID, it said that because this is a new exercise for revision of voter rolls, and EPIC cards are based on the electoral rolls, and since the electoral roll itself is being revised, the production of EPIC cards will make the whole exercise futile. So that was his defense, and it said that these documents can be submitted, but they won't be standalone proof for proving that you have to be a part
So
of
where
this.
does the case stand in the court right now, in the Supreme Court?
So the court is still hearing it. The court has not stayed the publication of the draft electoral rolls, and the arguments are still going on. The latest was the Supreme Court order last week, where it directed the ECI to release the list of 65 lakh voters, deleted voters. This was again on a petition filed by the ADR, which is one of the organizations. So they have approached the Supreme Court asking for this list to be published. Initially, ECI was resistant. In its response to this application, ECI said that it is not bound by law to share this list or publish it, and that it has already shared this list with the BLAs of the political parties. So the political parties have their own
What
workers,
are the BLAs?
the booth level agents of political parties, and they have all the parties have upped their workers on the ground. And the ECI said that we've already shared this list, and by law we're not required to publish it or share it with the petitioners. But the court said that they must publish it on the website of the district election officer, and they were given time till Tuesday, but they got it done by Sunday.
DK, so far, basic analysis. First of all, I can't see why this is not machine readable. So Apoorva will explain to us the reasoning that the EC did. But before that, how sustainable is this? EC refusing to give a machine readable list. Where is the problem?
Probably the political party argument, they're right there, because you have just 1 month to file claims and objections. Now, that Apoorva will explain, if you start explaining analyzing the data, it's going to be a huge task. It will take a long time. So you won't be able to do that within the stipulated period.
This is not your usual UPSC result or even your +2 result, where you have the list, you know your roll number, you can check it. It's not like that. It's nearly 66 lakh people. It is like 120% of the population of New Zealand, right? It's a lot of people. How does anybody find their name there? But why is the EC hesitant?
But on that I'll come. Say, if you have the EPIC, if you are a voter, you have your EPIC number, you can go and check for yourself. But we are talking about migrants. Now, about 20% of Bihar voters are migrants. Now, you are expecting them to be so tech savvy, and they should be pretty okay with online things, and they'll go and check. And that doesn't happen. And they will know, or many of the others will know, if they do not have access to that online thing, or they are not so savvy. Once they reach the polling booth, then they'll realize, oh, their name is not there. So when we are talking about claims and objections, we are taking it for granted that all of them have access, online access, and everybody will check. But maybe many of them don't know how to do it.
So, but what could be the motive? Or EC not giving a machine readable list?
I do not understand. Look, on many issues, EC has been kind of dismissive.
Very pugnacious.
Look at the first point, when it started. Now, if Rahul Gandhi is saying, he's the leader of the opposition in the Lok Sabha, he is saying in Mahadevpura Assembly constituency, I have got this much. And these are the issues.
Mahadevpura is in Karnataka.
In Bangalore. That we lost that Lok Sabha seat because in one assembly seat, 1 lakh voters were fake. EC is not saying we are going to investigate. EC is not saying we'll look into it. EC says first you write it under oath, and that's called that is under registration of registration of electors rule 1960. Now that rule, as Apoorva was speaking to PDT Achari, the former Lok Sabha Secretary General, he was explaining that this rule applies when you have this revision of electoral rules. If you have to object to something, so you have 30 days window, and then you may be asked to give an oath that this is wrong if you're objecting to somebody's name. So that is for 1 month. Once the voter list is ready, that issue is over. So this rule does not apply to Rahul Gandhi in this particular case. But CEC keeps repeating it. Instead of saying, okay, fine, if you can do SI in Bihar, why not go and do it in Mahadevpura, for that matter? It will take you just a few days.
So I'll read a line from the Chief Election Commissioner in his press conference. Give on oath or apologize to the nation. There is no third option. If we don't get an affidavit in 7 days, this would mean that all these allegations are baseless, and the person who's saying our voters are fraud should apologize. That's what they've said.
I mean, you were talking about TN Session. Well, he was also then accused of being aligned with the Congress. And in fact, he went on to join the Congress. If you recall, after he retired as CEC, he contested in the presidential election as independent against the Congress candidate.
I think he acquired delusions of grandeur.
Then he contested against LK Advani also. But as long as he was there, he was even-handed.
Yes.
I mean, such allegation and this kind of belligerence where you're just taking on the opposition leaders in a press conference outside, that was not happening.
Yeah, so EC became part of the polarized discourse in this case.
Yeah.
Apoorva, there is some nuance to how these lists will be put out. So it's not as if I am searching for my name, I have to go over these 65 lakh names. It's not like the data that once Sahara submitted to the regulator of their deposit holders, which came in a truck, I think, truckload or maybe couple of trucks. It's not quite like that. How does it work?
So there's a couple of things. The Supreme Court in its order has also tried to ensure that this list of deleted voters reaches the voters. Of course, it has asked the list to be uploaded on the district election officer's website. It's also asked for wide publicity in newspapers, on radio. It's also said that the booth-wise lists will be displayed on the notice board of respected Panchayat Bhavan and offices of the block development officer, Panchayat officers, so that general public can go and look at it. Now, apart from this, even on the website, there's two ways of looking at these lists. If you go to the CEO Bihar's website, there's a very clear tab saying, okay, go look at the districts. Then you can search through the districts. Once you click on the district, you go to the district website where either you can put in, as DK mentioned, put in your EPIC number and look up if you've been deleted, or you can filter it through assembly constituency wise, after which you have different parts of each assembly constituency and it's uploaded part or booth wise. So for every assembly constituency, there are about 300-400 PDFs, each listing down deleted voters, again in form that can't be machine readable or searchable. So that's what brings us to the fact why there should be machine readable.
And what is Election Commission's reasoning for not making it machine readable?
Right. So in the press conference on Sunday, the Chief Election Commissioner referred to an old judgment, a 2018 judgment in the Kamal Nath case. So basically back then, Congress leader Kamal Nath had gone to the Supreme Court asking for these lists to be machine readable, because at that time also a revision was done.
So the background to this is that Kamal Nath had gone to Supreme Court before 2018 elections, demanding that a proper revision of electoral rules should be carried out because he said there were too many fake voters.
Right. So they had gone through all the voter lists and they had found some voters whose pictures were maybe fuzzy or not entirely clear. So they had gone with those discrepancies. Now the court at that time, so Kamal Nath had also asked for machine readable lists, saying that we have tried to convert these PDFs, which are picture only PDFs. Essentially, you can't search, Control FC, you can't search on those PDFs. So copy paste names or information. So it asks for machine readable PDF, saying that it makes our task to check voters a little easier. Now, ECI took the defense that this would compromise voter privacy, saying that this could lead to data mining or voter profiling. Just to let you know about the rule that applies in it, at that time there was Election Manual 2016, which says that draft roll needs to be put out in public domain in a PDF format. It says that draft roll shall be put on the website in text mode and no photographs should appear against the elector's details. So the court interpreted this text mode bit to mean that even a picture of the text works, and the format can be decided by the ECI. So it didn't conclusively say that no, the ECI is barred from putting out searchable PDFs.
Which the CEC claimed
which the CEC
in the Sunday
claimed.
press conference.
Yeah, he
that
used the word
Supreme Court
budget.
prohibited it.
Yes.
So that itself creates a little suspicion that why are they not making it machine readable? Because in this time and age, when everything's machine readable, why not this? Why is this fully manual?
Right.
And then look at it, when they say we'll be having all these lists at Panchayat Bhavans, you have deleted 36 lakh names because they could not be traced or they have permanently shifted. Are they coming back to Bihar within this 1 month window to look at the list at the Panchayat Bhavans?
Yeah.
The entire logic is so flawed.
Even for these lists, for
And then
voter
another thing,
privacy.
just another point. They have been claiming that out of the 7.9 crores, 60% of them, they had their names in the 2003 revised list. So they do not need to submit any document. Now, how do we know they were not fake? Because you are just checking who were fake, who were citizens or not citizens. What about those 5 crores? Maybe many of them were fake. That we are not ascertaining there.
So even for even the CEC at that time on Sunday said that the Supreme Court had barred it on the basis of the fact that it could violate voter privacy. But when we read the judgment, the Supreme Court had noted that ECI's concern was voter privacy, but it said, and I quote, that it was not necessary to go into this aspect. So the Supreme Court didn't really decide on that issue at that time.
DK, now we know all of this is, a lot of it is legalese, a lot of it is complex politics. It's also EC versus the opposition. But underlying all this is the minority vote. That is the opposition's big concern.
Largely, yes.
Largely. So if you look at the regions of Bihar, is very thickly populated. If you see some districts, these are the Simachal districts and the Kosi Simachal districts. If you look at these districts, that is Gopalganj, Purnia, Araria, Kishanganj, Katihar, and then in the Kosi Simachal area, Saharsa, Supol, and Madhepura. So in the entire state, the deletions are about 8.06. I think I had said 9%. My mental math is not very good. It's 8.06%. But if you look at these districts, again, is there excessively high deletion? I see Gopalganj, Apoorva, you tell me it's 15.02%.
Right.
So that's
But
a lot.
Gopalganj is not in Simachal.
Yes, Simachal,
But it's not in Simachal. Purnia is 12.08%. And Kishanganj, which is very much Simachal and is a Muslim majority constituency, 11.82%. So it's a little bit higher than the statewide average, but not that much higher.
Apoorva had done all the calculations. Out of 7 districts in the Simachal region that's analyzed, only 4 showed a slight increase, more than the state average. That was slight. So it's 8.06. In some districts, it could be 9, it could be 11. But in 3 other districts, again, minority-dominated districts, it was less than the state average. So we cannot conclusively prove that there was any attempted mischief.
So even the opposition cannot make a sweeping statement on
Yes,
that.
and Gopalganj has 17% Muslims, which is again the state average. In Bihar, you have 17% Muslims. And Gopalganj also has 17% Muslims. Right. And there it's the maximum deletions, like 15% of the voters. So to suggest at this stage that there was any mischief or there is any mischief would be unfair to the Election Commission. And we will wait because the opposition is also talking, sorry, the BJP is also talking about ghuspaitiyas and infiltrators, that same old polarization technique. But thing is, the CEC was asked about this question at the Sunday's press conference, that how many foreign immigrants have you found? Like out of the 65 or those who have given the enumeration forms? He said, we have no idea so far. So we'll wait. When the final list comes out, we'll hear from the EC. I mean, how many ghuspaitiyas were there, who you have deleted or removed? So there are many other questions, and that's why we cannot take any judgmental call that SIR, whether opposition is right about its allegations or whether EC is wrong about this. We cannot take that call at this stage. We'll have to wait right now.
Apoorva, you have a concluding word to add?
Just taking a cue from DK, he's saying we'll wait to see how it unfolds. I would personally also wait to see how it unfolds in the Supreme Court and as the day passes, because ECI has been releasing daily bulletins as well, and we're hoping that more information will come up once it starts looking at these claims and objections, because again, like DK mentioned about people from other countries being in India, the CEC said that we have asked them for more documents, and if they're found to be not Indian citizens, they won't be included in the final electoral roll. So we'll just have to wait and watch how this goes.
So what wisdom can we draw from what we have learned so far from Apoorva and from DK Singh and from what we've been reading and we've been watching? One, it's a polarized situation. Second, SIR by itself is not unconstitutional. Electoral rolls should be clean. If foreigners have gotten onto your rolls, that is not right. That is something that's going on in the US as well, in every democracy right now. That's a perfectly legitimate thing. However, questions arise about the timing of this exercise, the method employed, and also in the manner in which the Election Commission has responded to these questions. You can call them attacks from the opposition, because it will be unfortunate if the Election Commission becomes an adversarial institution to one side of the electoral dividing line. That will be unfortunate. At the same time, I will also add, and this is a little bit of opinion from me, that personal attacks on the Chief Election Commissioner, particularly involving members of his family, and these are about people, members of his family, his children and children-in-law, who've got selected through the rigorous UPSC process in All India services and their postings. These attacks are egregious, uncalled for, and unfair. We should keep the families out. These are not politicians whose children are involved in their politics. This is a civil servant, and a distinguished civil servant with a stellar record in service. That you have to say. And he has worked under various political parties, governments of various political parties. Because you have arguments with him, those arguments or that polarization should also not be an excuse to tar his family members who are civil servants in their own right with the same brush.